Kick off your Week 16 NFL Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown crew on ESPN and the ESPN app. They've got you covered on everything, all the early breaking stories, injury updates with Adam Schefter, previews of each game, and it goes right up until kickoff, so you can really be prepared. All right, let's talk the Broncos. They have the most to play for in Week 16 as they have a chance to wrap up both the AFC West, the #1 seed, and home field advantage in the AFC. They clinch the division with a win and a Chargers loss, while they would also need losses by the Bills and Patriots to clinch the AFC's top spot. So there's a lot that kind of needs to happen, but here's Sean Payton on more.
We're not preparing for the playoffs right now. We have 3 goals. Win the division. All right? The first goal is not make the playoffs. What I said yesterday, first goal, win the division. Goal 2, best seed. Goal 3, Super Bowl. None of those goals have been accomplished. We're focused on Jacksonville. Goal 1 is not make the playoffs.
Okay, then. Tell him. All right, that was maybe also a peek inside like what he's actually saying to the team. We talked a lot yesterday just about how this was Bo Nix's best game as a pro. Yep. Something seems to click with what he was able to do on Sunday. How did Sean Payton's game plan, though, Mina, make a difference?
He's so good.
Yeah.
Some of my hesitation, I think, with Bo Nix prior to this game was I felt like he was much better versus man coverage than zone. The numbers bore that out. He was great at, oh, good, I got a one-on-one Cortland Sutton. I'm going to hit the fade, accurate. But earlier, until this point in the season, when he faced zone coverage, he felt some hesitancy in the pocket, some uncertainty about what he was seeing. I thought Payton did such a good job of finding ways to get him one-on-ones versus zone coverage, whether it was through those 4x1 formations or trips, so that Bo didn't have to pause or go through full field reads often. It felt like Payton was giving him the correct answers. And again, credit to Bo. He was incredibly accurate from inside the pocket, throwing downfield in a way that he also hasn't been this season. But I think from a game plan perspective, it felt like for Jeff Hafley's very zone-centric defense, he gave him all the right answers.
Yeah, he went from frantic and hurried to fast and clean. And that's kind of the thing that frantic and hurried was, for some moments this year, the feet were all over the place. We've seen him run in the pocket and a little bit of doubt in there. And in this game, it was fast and clean. And I think one of the reasons why is their style of how lacking a huddle was a big deal. So this is a dagger concept. He's going to read really high to low versus that zone defense Mina's talking about. The shallow wants to sit down in zone. Don't run to where the defenders are. Right when that guy's sitting down, that ball comes out. You might think if it's only a 7-yard completion, that's a big deal. This is a spot route. A little 5-yard sit and the back to the flat. Right now, there's the vacancy to Sutton. There's that zone that Mito was referencing. Ball comes out right now. It allows you to get to that first down. Another version of spot this time has 3 people involved in it. This ball is out before that receiver puts his left foot into the goal line, before that defender can collapse, and the placement is there on that right shoulder. And then that really like motion to a hitch route. This ball's going to come out of Bo's hands before the receiver's ready for it. He's still running his route. Once again, it's zone defense. And when you rewatch the game, and that's the overwhelming thing, it's like, okay, why? Look how much they went no huddle this game. I think the no huddle was a huge deal of it. Their no huddle usage. They ran it 13 times most of the season. They ran it for 111 yards most of the season and 13.5 plus yards per attempt most of the season. I think the no huddle almost calmed him down to play way less frantic and allowed the ball to come out a little bit quicker.
That's something you had observed earlier in the season too, right? When they would go no huddle, oh, why are they so good in these fourth quarter comebacks? So it's interesting to see that pay off. The other thing I'll say this, I had my concerns about Bo Nix. I also had concerns about the Denver pass catchers outside of Cortland Sutton. They were amazing in this game. Going back and watching some
Franklin's
of the,
really stepped
Franklin
up,
is
man.
becoming a legit #2. Sutton was unbelievable in this game. I think he's kind of overlooked sometimes in terms of being like one of the true great X receivers. So when we think about this Broncos team and on a potential Super Bowl run, they stepped up.
It's just funny. I would think most quarterbacks, when they go no huddle, would play a little bit more sped up.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Like, why would he be more comfortable that way? Is it because just everybody knows the calls more?
Yeah,
He's
I
not
think
communicating them.
Young kid coming from college,
so
a little bit more of what they're accustomed to. When you play no huddle, you'll get a little bit more of vanilla. I don't want to say vanilla defense, but defenses can't necessarily get overly exotic because they can't necessarily get their calls in.
It's a weapon.
It's a clear indication of when we're in this formation, they're going to get into this coverage. If you just saw this coverage, you're probably going to get that coverage again. So it's cutting the fat off of plays.
Interesting. Okay, so that's one quarterback, a young guy who had his best performance in the NFL. How about another one who did, okay? Let's talk about Trevor Lawrence. Since Jacksonville's bye in Week 8, the Jags have gone 6-1, while quarterback Trevor Lawrence has recorded 18 touchdowns and seen a massive spike in his QBR. In Sunday's win over the Jets, Lawrence threw for a career-high 5 touchdowns while rushing for another, becoming the first player in Jaguars history to account for 6 touchdowns in a game. Dan, how has Trevor Lawrence been able to run this offense so effectively lately?
Man, kudos to Liam Cohen and Grant Udinski. Double motions, a little bit of the Rams flavor, and then all kinds of play actions. But the concepts are often the similar thought process, and Trevor Lawrence has got a really good understanding. So what do I mean by double motion? Watch Jacoby Myers. They're in 3-0. Here he comes all the way across the formation, lines up as his out wide receiver. Now he's going to double motion and get back into an insert between the tackle and that tight end. What's the concept? Okay, you're going to run this dagger where there's big in. Here comes Jacoby on this shallow, and then BTJ is going to be this through route. That through route I'm going to put as number 1. Man coverage, it's an alert for us, and it's really about that backside defender. Does he commit with this ball fake? Yes. That backside defender steps up. There's a vacancy back here for Brian Thomas Jr. to be the wide receiver that's going to be on that clear route. Ball comes out for Trevor Lawrence versus man coverage. Flatten it off. Double motion, under center play action. Go a little bit later. Now we're in the pistol. We've got 2 tight ends here. We're going to get a very similar concept. We are going to get our through route here. The back is going to be a check down sitting right there. And then we're going to get this big in by Jacoby. I told everybody, man alert, backside defender is that initial thought for that through route. What does that backside defender do with that play action? He stays backside. He's got vision. Don't want to throw the through route, but Trevor Lawrence has so much trust in with receivers. That ball comes out. These guys have pretty good depth right here, but that in route's thrown on time. Jacoby Myers, beautiful. Now let's go under center. Talked about the double motion. Strange starts on the right, goes to the left. He gets set. All of a sudden, here it comes again with that double motion. We're going to lead with him and pull that front side offensive lineman. So here's this look with the ball fake, and we're then going to replace it with the tight end leaking. Ball comes out. Different version of play action, another chunk. All the different versions of play action in this offense with those double motions. The quarterback is so confident in what he's looking at.
Watching this game in particular, because they leaned so heavily on play action, it was so good. Really drove home for me, how important the acquisition of Jacoby Myers was.
He's been huge.
Thinking about Liam Cohen, this is from the Shanahan tree. These Shanahan-McVay offenses need a receiver who can do dirty work. He's part of the run action, who can navigate through traffic, as you saw, and you saw him run the dig. The middle of the field was not a possibility for Trevor Lawrence. They were using Brian Thomas Jr. there, and it was just not his game. They got a receiver who's amazing at working. I mean, he took contact on that dig. It was well covered, but he held on to the football. Trevor trusts him. So, sticking on the theme of play action, I just love the way Liam Cohen sequences his plays. This one I love so much. It's inside zone with the fullback lead. That's Brenton Strange. This is blown up. It's a run attempt, but the safety fills. And so this is just a 2-yard gain. You're thinking, oh, okay, that's for nothing,
that play's
right?
Dead.
Out of the I formation. Okay, so this is in the 3rd quarter. The very next drive, same look. Strange is the fullback. Jets are thinking they're going to run it again. They just ran it on the prior drive. Watch Brenton Strange slither through the B gap. Biting so hard on the play action. And then he's wide open for a huge gain. I think Liam Cohen is brilliant at when he puts together his play action game, not only coming up with runs that watching the ball, I'm convinced they're going to run every time, but also sequencing plays to set up payoff plays like this one down the road.
Yeah, the play action game it's never really been something Trevor's used. We've talked about the middle of the field hasn't necessarily been something. He's always been great with out routes. He can throw the out route with anybody in the NFL. But the way that they are getting to so many different versions of play action while also not running the football unbelievably effective right now.
Run the football well for play action to work.